Up next, we have Lesley Watson and Dougal Philip, co-founders of New Hopetoun Gardens, I'm going to get this right, winner of the Best Garden Centre Retailer of Gift Awards, the Greats 2016. And in this talk, Lesley and Dougal will champion maintaining strongly themed and seasonal display of gifts and teach you how to recognise and protect your best-selling gift lines. So I'm going to step aside and introduce Lesley Watson and Dougal Philip.
Good morning, good afternoon, good nearly afternoon.
Yeah,
Thank you for taking time out to listen to us. I hope you learned something interesting. None of you will know us, I don't think. So who are we? Well, we're the owners and also the managers of New Hopetoun Gardens, which is a garden centre 12 miles west of Edinburgh. We have a turnover of about £2 million. Our gifts represent 12% in the category of fancy goods. We call them fancy goods, the things you dust. But we sell an awful lot of plants and pots and statues and garden care stuff as gifts. So we feel that we probably have about a 20% of our turnover as gifts. And that represents the same percentage as our tea room, which we hope is an ancillary service for people buying, because of course if they sit down after they've used the loos, they relax and they buy a lot more. Lesley.
Well, you haven't spoken to your other slide, but it's okay.
We
are scripted, but you know, it's just going to be a bit free fall here. So we're 12 miles outside Edinburgh, and this is an aerial view of the garden centre. You're going to have to just get that imprinted on your memory, because we're going to refer to it quite a lot. You see there we have 3 buildings which are linked with covered walkways. And we're going to refer to these. But in our opening logo, we're so much more than just a garden centre. Why is that? What makes us different? Well, there are a lot of things. You've got the clicker. Could you click, please? Thank you. We actually have 20 demonstration gardens. We're in a 5-acre site, and we have gardens, we have woodland, which I think sets us apart from, the general image of a garden centre, which is a building and then the plant area is monoblocked and it's got tables and it's lovely, but possibly there's not too much inspiration. We have gardens where things are planted, so you can see what a 10-year-old ceanothus looks like. We have them themed into various locations, so we can give good advice. This slide is because what we run in July and August is a festival called Art in the Garden. And this year we have 10 artists who are based in Scotland who have created works which are absolutely fine outside, and we've got them located all around our gardens. Our cunning plan is that you look at something and it might be £1,000, then you look very favourably on some of the exterior ornaments that we have that are only £30 or £40. And so we actually do sell quite a lot of artworks which are mass-produced, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, on the back of Art in the Garden. We're also a gardener's garden centre. So we really know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. We give good advice. We have lots of gifts for gardeners, but also we don't forget our tourists. We're in Scotland. I know this is a little bit cliched, but tartan does sell. And we do make sure we have a lot of gifts for our tourists. Sadly, just at the moment, we're waiting for the garden centre to get in touch with us because they have carefully done some roadworks on the lead-in road to the garden centre. So we're expecting a little of a traumatic 2 or 3 days till that work is done, but nevertheless.
So the Orangery Tea Room is 20% of our turnover, but we have gifts in there so that people are looking at them when they're relaxed. And they also have to walk past our main gift shop to get into the Orangery tea room. So the tea room's up there in the top left-hand corner of the picture, and the servery is just off the screen to the left. So they are very aware of what we have, and we have some wonderful hotspots along this front row while they're queuing to get their soup and sandwiches. Why we're very different from an independent gift shop is that our gifts are spread over quite a wide area. So it's quite often they won't come across a member of staff to explain particular gifts. And the gifts have to speak for themselves. Whereas in a smaller gift shop, sometimes if you're not too busy, you have time to talk to your visitors and explain why they should be buying such wonderful, good valued gifts from you. We do talk to our customers on customer evenings. We do demonstrations, particularly at Christmas time. We talk about a lot of gifts. And we send out this newsletter 5 times a year to 7,000 people who are on our mailing list. And gifts have to share it with everything else most times of the year. But in November, when the Christmas one comes out, half the newsletter is gifts, just reminding them of the range of gifts and tempting them with some of the particular gifts that we are offering that season.
So that's a little bit about who we are, a little bit about our location. Why do we do gifts? I think probably the same reason as most garden centres, because gardening is seasonal. As we come into the autumn and winter, we want to keep all our staff on, and so the gifts really do spread the load very, very nicely. Sits very comfortably with our tea room. We do use all the team. This is one of our silver displays. This is Christmas. It's just horrific thinking that we'll have to start putting this out in September, because we all know how long it takes us to put Christmas out. The other thing I would say is we try and do things a little bit differently. We're always looking for something that's going to set us apart, maybe from, I don't want to steal your lines, but from Dobbies, which is a big chain in Scotland. We have 7 surrounding us. It's a little bit like a cowboy film. You know when they used to put the wagons in a circle and they've got them completely encircled? We are encircled with Dobbies, so I need to be different, particularly at Christmas time. I jokingly say we sell Christmas naked. We try and unpack everything. I resist acetate boxes. I want people to be able to touch, feel and engage with the product. We spend a long time, we theme all our Christmas displays. I say all our Christmas displays. We only have 3 themes because that's all I can remember. And we actually put this into the garden shop. We don't have a bespoke furniture store, so it goes into the garden shop where seeds and fertilizers went, which we condense down, and we tend to reveal it about middle of October. But it keeps us all very busy, and all the girls and boys from the plant area work very hard on Christmas, and they all multitask across all our departments. Now, we really expanded into gifts 8 years ago because we stopped doing houseplants. We have 3 buildings, and we had houseplants in the tea room building. Because we're a gardener's garden centre, we felt we needed living plants. Unfortunately, at the time, the supermarkets were really expanding their plant option, and we couldn't match them price-wise. We were throwing so much away. Sadly, we decided we'd have to stop. It was a really, really hard decision to do. And so Dougal said to me, right, okay, you've got that space now. What are you going to put in there? And you know, it was actually quite easy because I put handbags in, I put teddy bears in, and I put some sculptures in. And we started to make a huge amount more money from those square meters. The other thing I hadn't actually appreciated is how dirty houseplants are. I love them, but the compost was going everywhere. And so we now have a very clean gift shop, which is linked with the tea room. This slide is a bit ironic because in the last year, there has been a huge resurgence in the interest of young people in houseplants, particularly people living in flats. There's a lot of modern settings now you can get with houseplants. And so we now have replaced houseplants. They have come back, but they're actually in the main garden shop. I'm a little bit worried because they're actually where I used to sell all my hats and scarves. So that's going to be a story that I'm going to have to take up, decide what I'm going to do about it.
Okay, so where do we position our gifts? We've already said we've got 3 buildings. The main gift shop building is this one that you look at from across some of our themed gardens. It's called the Orangery Building. And in here, it is the furthest point from the entrance to the garden centre. And it's got the loos, which get people there really quickly, and the tea room. So we get them right through a lot of our gardening product on the way to the gift shop and the tea room. Here we always have seasonal hotspots. So we might have a summer one here, mixing quite a lot of product from different suppliers. You know, we'll strongly theme them. So the swallows from Sophia Allport probably started this display last summer. Easter is great with us. It's a short season. Most of what we sell at Easter is spring-like, bright yellows, fresh colours that can stay out when we have an early Easter like this year, and don't have to put it away because it's too many bunnies and chicks and things. We've been running Seaside, as many of you will have done who have gift shops, this summer, but we're already beginning to buy for August, when Seaside will disappear for us. And of course, seasons like Valentine's, it always amuses our customers to have Mother's Days and Valentine's cards. But young men are pretty hopeless at coming out to garden centres, so we don't do an awful lot on Valentine's Day. They tend to do things from garages and places near the office.
These sweeping statements, but nevertheless. Besides having these seasonal displays, we talk about customer loyalty, and we augment all these seasonal displays with very regular ones that the customers know that they can always rely on us, that they're going to be able to get. So we do a lot of wax. This is Wax Lyrical with sweet pea candles. We do very well with the RHS range. This has got nothing to do with the fact that we are both RHS Chelsea judges, which we happen to be, but we do very well with RHS. We do a lot of fragrance, and we like to keep this. This is rather a large slide. There is a fragrance section in there. And we do find that we can change our ranges, but if you actually have a very popular one, what we do, we have Iron Aromatics in our Ladies' Loo, and we have Scottish Fine Soap in our dispensers in our Gents and Disabled. And we find we sell absolute truckloads of the hand wash and the hand conditioner because people can use them. They also find it's actually rather a luxurious thing to have, so people do really appreciate it. We do a lot for children and babies. This is not because we've just got 4 grandchildren, although people do comment on the fact that I have a lot more now for grannies to buy. But it's not stuff to dust. It's useful stuff. It's bookends and plates and things which I think make really nice gifts. I have to say here, and this wouldn't be everybody's choice, but although you maybe saw the Dory books in one of the slides there with Seashore, I tend to avoid most of the licensed goods because it gets too mainstream for us. Having said that, there are some that we do support because I think the longevity of them is fabulous and the Gruffalo keeps on going. But some of the others, I find it's in too many shops and it just doesn't work for us. Another section which we do have, I should just be looking down here, but I can't see a thing with my glasses on. Could you click, please? Is the men's corner. I think it's 68% of women, 68% of the customers at a garden centre are women, and they want to buy for men. So we do have a dedicated men's area. Now, I think this was quite a push a few years ago at a gift show, and it was suddenly gifts for men, and I thought, well, let's see how it goes. It goes extremely well, and we're expanding on that, and it works really, really well for us. We've found a lot of new stuff here at the show, which we will tell you a little bit later. Not everything, because I want to make sure I've got some new and different things. But the men's area works very well. And the kitchen does. We have a small offering in the kitchen and food department. We have the gardener's pantry. Try and make sure, if we can, it's Scottish products. And again, it's very robust and it sells very well. This is very close to the tea room, so that link works very well. You've got to have things where people expect to find them.
We are quite greedy as well. We'll try not to compete with Tesco's and Sainsbury's around us. So we look for ranges where we can also get a really good margin of 40 to 50% in the food life with long shelf life, which we find is important for us. So as we come out of the orangery and going back towards the entrance, there's a covered canopy there. We like people to remember they are in a garden centre, even if they're just dashing to the gift shop or the loos or the tea room. And here we have a lot of impulse products, a lot of planted containers that people can just pick up to give as a gift or to treat themselves.
Pick up and pay, and then...
Yeah, they've got to go past the tills to get back out. It's in the garden care, the front shop, we do have some sections like these tables with mainly Bergen and Ball giftware on them for people to buy gifts for gardeners. But most of the gardeners' gifts are spread fairly evenly throughout these buildings. If all else fails, they're buying gift vouchers for gardeners because they really don't know what their family or friends are going to want in the garden. and we do try to sell them our own gift vouchers to make sure that the recipients come back to us, as well as the National Garden gift vouchers.
Our third building, now you're all totally confused, I hope not, but nevertheless. Our third building is the birdhouse. And this actually has a storeroom, it has a little stage where we can do talks, and we do a lot of bird care, a lot of wildlife related products, and they do actually make very good gifts as well. We are passionate about encouraging wildlife and bees into the garden and pollinating insects. I'm not going to go on about that too much because that's a whole other talk. The other thing we have found that we find that we can link product inside and out, and this is one of the joys of being a garden centre. We actually have quite a lot of space. So this is just outside the garden centre. And I can't remember because I've taken my glasses off. I am allowed to touch onto this. We have now found a whole new sector. And when I saw it, we go to Glee as well. I was absolutely unsure as anything. I thought, I'm not sure if this is going to work for us. Called fairy gardens or miniature gardening. And it has been absolutely massive for us. Half of the birdhouse now has got these little tiny houses. I know you're going to talk a lot more about this. And it is just amazing. I looked at it and thought, I'm really not sure. It could just be a little bit tatty. It's not. It gets children gardening in the garden. It gets grannies gardening. People can do it on balconies. And in the first year at retail, we did £17,000 in little houses and little fences and little ponds. I thought that was pretty good. Year to date, we're only halfway through. We've done £16,000. It's a massive sector. There is a supplier here, Vivid Art are here in Hall A with their miniature gardens. I think it could be displayed better. Don't say I said that. However, it is here, and I would just urge you to get on stocking it because it is fantastic. Interrupting you, I'm sorry.
No, this was for you.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So this last slide there is right at the entrance. So we have a roof with miniature gardens on. A lot of customers don't notice it, but many do and stop and then move on. And then as they're going through to the orangery, to the loos and the tea room, there's a directional little 3 displays of miniature gardens in containers showing them where miniature gardens are living. We want to stamp our reputation as the Scottish home of miniature and fairy gardens because it just works so well for us with the inside-outside link that Lesley was talking about. It appeals to a really wide range of customers. Some grannies find that they bought them for their grandchildren, but their grandchildren have insisted that they keep them at granny's house so they play with them whenever they go and visit. A lot of it's adults not involved in children, and there are quite a lot of collectors getting involved because there's so many different bits and pieces of kit that you can buy. It's like dolls' houses inside. Some people are putting miniature houses inside, but we do encourage them to get them outside, to get people gardening with these mini dolls' houses. And also they're great on balconies, on patios. They don't have to just be in the main garden. So this is an indoor one, and you see on the left the Fiddlehead range, and on the right in the pink, the Vivid Arts ranges. They both sell well for us. And there are any amount of little accessories which sell at £4 to £10 with a 50% gross profit margin. You know, lamp posts and seats and urns and tables and furniture.
We sold 72 lampposts this year. Someone's obviously doing a high street, I think.
Yeah. We aim to show them how they should use them. So we have a lot of demonstration gardens. So even a little wall basket will inspire someone to have a go. And once they start buying a house at £15 to £20, and the wall basket and the plants and the soil and the kit, they're usually spending £60 to £100. So it's a really happy sale for us. And we have little leaflets about how they should go about planting these miniature gardens to encourage them to have success and keep repeating. And if they're looking good in their gardens, their friends are then tempted to do it in their gardens. But it's a big range of accessories and having the right miniature plants. So it is hard work doing it properly, and you've got to do it properly and keep the stock up Some of the ranges have catalogues for the customers to take away, and they'll come back with a marked catalogue, and they expect to have all the sort of 10 items they're wanting to buy in stock on the day they visit you.
So this is just something, there's no pretty pictures for this next bit, what I'm going to say, I'm afraid. But I think we all know that little sort of phrase, retail is detail, and it is. And it's continual attention to keeping everywhere tidy, clean, and full. And the thing is, a stand can look full, but in actual fact, your best sellers aren't there. And once the best sellers have gone, then the range all slows down. And so you need to make sure that you keep on top of that the whole time. I'm hurrying up a little bit.
Oh, no, you're fine. Sorry, I was just going to mention, of course, outside ornaments are very popular as gifts. We try to be a bit tasteful with the ones we offer because we're surrounded by other garden centres offering the most awful things. I'm sure you're all...
That's not Dobby's, actually.
No, well...
There's some others.
I'm sure you're all fans of meerkats and guinea pigs and things. I'm afraid we don't go down there because people can get them elsewhere. We try to delight and surprise people by having something they maybe haven't seen elsewhere and quite a choice for them to make. We get the customers we deserve because we tend to buy things we like. Luckily, there are enough people who like the same things as us to give us a viable business. One very successful area for us over the last 18 months has been wind sculptures. I'm sorry, it's not a very good slide because it's just a sea of wind sculptures. But when you're in there, you focus on individual ones, and it works really well. And these wind sculptures from
John Art.
The cheapest ones are £45, and the most expensive are about £200. And we find it difficult keeping them in stock. Okay, we're only buying 3s or 4s of a type at a time, but we have them all demonstrated, and people are quite happy when it's the last one to buy the demonstrator that's been in the garden for a few weeks at full price. We don't seem to have to discount our demonstrators because they don't kick around for very long. These particular ranges, like the fairy gardens and the wind sculptures, we feel we have to keep them in depth and give that choice. And people will come to us because they've seen them there, and then they suddenly think, oh, that would be lovely in our garden, or make a lovely gift for Granny or whatever. And when they come, they really need to be sure that they're going to get a good selection to choose from, and particularly the one that they want. So we're always trying to inspire them, helping them to make decisions and to find out how they're going to look after them, help their imaginations, and of course the most important thing is to tempt them to make the purchase.
Okay, so we've done who we are and we've done where we sell the gifts. I think the crunch is what ranges do we offer? How do we choose what we sell? And I think we've already emphasised we want to be distinctive. I think we all want to do that, particularly independent gift shop, whether you're in the high street or whether you are operating within a garden centre. You've got to be distinctive from your neighbours. I want something that nobody else has got, but people want to buy. I think you've got to be aware of what your competitors are selling. I find it now very difficult to go into neighbouring garden centres because they all know me and they tend to follow me around. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's a bit alarming. You need to have a strong character, and the strong character here isn't Dougal, it's actually Basil the cat. And we have a cat. It's actually a very functional cat. Well, he used to be. He's got a bit old now. Because we're in the country, he mouses for us because we sell bird food and we have other products which do attract naughty little things. So he does actually earn his keep. But people come in specially to see Basil. He gets Christmas cards. He gets little parcels and presents. And people are very often very disappointed if he's not there. He's not desperately keen on children. But what he does, he positions himself within the roses, on the back rail of the roses, so they can't get him. And we are the garden centre with the black and white cat. And I think it's worth doing something like that, even if you make something up, because it helps people remember who you are. I keep my eye on the internet as much as possible. I don't mind if products are there, as long as they're not cheaper, because it can raise the profile of a product. If it is cheaper or if I know something like that's going on, I will delist a company. And I'm finding it very helpful. A lot of companies now tell you what they do online and what the financial implications are.
The wooden heads here we've done for 2 or 3 years, and every single one is different. So it's actually very difficult to buy a unique product like this online. And our customers' biggest problems is choosing which head they like most. You know, do they like Mr. Grumpy or Mr. Fiercey or Mr. Smiley? And you'll have family rows. It's like buying cut Christmas trees. At least these are going to last longer than the Christmas tree, but it still takes a lot of customer debate. We've said that we have the luxury of being able to choose what we want to buy and what we like, and we've trained our customers to do that. We need to like it. Well, at least one of us needs to like it. I mean, it's ideal if it's 2 of us. And Lesley would tell you that when we first went into the fairy gardens, it was a 3-1 split, with her being the one from the other 2 buyers. And she's quite happy to admit.
But completely wrong.
Yeah. And you know, we find a show like this, well, she finds it particularly good because it's shopping on an industrial scale. I have to steer her away from the leather bags.
It's fine.
We'd be absolutely broke if I didn't resist that. But our message always is to be brave and try something new, something different. And we find that like this big, the tall, life-size wooden horse, I think is retailing at about £900. We expect we'll have to clear it after 6 months for cost plus VAT. But everyone's enjoying it meantime. And the head in front of it, the smaller head, we sold 3 last year, and we were brave when we bought 1. So, you know, this year we thought, well, we'll just go for the whole horse and just see how elastic the market is.
I love the we, because you did that on your own, and it arrived, and we just couldn't believe it. Because we'd had the horse's head, and they went, I think Dougal did this order, and this horse was unwrapped. And we're like, right, fine.
Yeah,
it's good.
He's lovely, though.
But you will find some new ranges. What do you need to do when you find some new ranges? Because you've got to give them the best chance of success. So we have found some new suppliers here already in the last 24 hours, but we will make sure that when they come in, they're given a hot spot. You need not to lose these new things. You need to really shout about them, because it is making you different, and hopefully once you've exposed your customers to it, it will settle down, it'll become a regular feature, and then maybe it can slightly take a back seat, and then somebody else can come forward. Over the years, we've actually refined our offering, and we have expanded the most successful ranges. This is a slide of Gazella Graham, and this is their bee promotion. I like working with people who do the designs. I know there's an awful lot of people around who copy, and I buy from them as well, and I plump up collections. But I really like to work with designers, because I know then we're getting things first. And I find Gazella Graham really, really works very well with us. Very much like this bee collection, those of you who buy from Gazella Graham will be aware that next January, February, there's a butterfly collection called Papillon, which is utterly stunning, absolutely beautiful.
So Lesley always tells me, if I want a new range, what am I going to take out? Because it's really annoying, but we have to make space for customers to browse. And looking at ranges, we always decide whether we're buying good, better, or best. There's no point buying the best if we don't have an entry point at good. So with a range like Zeal, we feel that it's a good product that seems good value. And we don't need a full kitchen range. It's a big enough range to not get lost on the shelves, but it's a good range. If we're choosing a fuller range, maybe in handbags...
Definitely handbags, yep.
Yep. We'll make sure that we have the entry point at under £10, but we'll also stretch up and have bags at £40 or £50 at the top end. And Lesley will tell a story about, at the award ceremony, we met the lady from Troon.
Yes, she'd won the best jewellery shop. Yes. Okay. And I was saying, oh, we do bags and we do scarves, and we start off, I can't remember what the price is, I think it's about £5.99 to be honest. And I said, and we go right up to quintessential. and their silk scarves are £30. And she thought, well, that's lovely. I really like Quintessential. Quintessential is my entry point, and then I go up to £100. And I thought, well, that's good, because she's doing a different, hers is a whole bespoke jewellery, scarf, and, you know, bag shop. This is me. This is quite interesting, because talking about not losing things, or if you have a single line, give it a strong focus. This is a little Scottish selection, and it's quite interesting with this. There's a book out called Scotland the Best by Pete Irvin. It's absolutely fantastic, because we're the top garden centre in it. No, I'm just joking. And it does hotels, it does restaurants, it does everything. And this is the new edition of it. Now, we don't do many guidebooks, so we thought we'd just put it on a table. Behind it, there's another book called The Story of the Kelpies. And if you don't come from Scotland, you probably don't know what on earth I'm talking about. But there are two huge metal horses' heads. A big theme going through here on horses, isn't there? Two huge horses' heads, which are a central piece of a park in Falkirk. And there is a fairy story, a Scottish fairy story about the Kelpies. So far, we have sold 63 Kelpie books at full price. And I think it's 34 Scotland the Best, in a little isolated table, because it's really clear where you can find it. I'm just going to go back to Zeal for a minute, because they are actually in DP1, and all their kitchen products are made to look like flowers. So the measuring spoons are like a crocus bud, and the colanders are like a leaf, and they're utterly stunning if you just want to dip into a floral range for kitchenware.
So all our hotspots need products with a good retail value, a good margin, and they have to be impulsive and tempting. So we've just had, organised by the Horticultural Trades Association, Alfresco Fortnight, and that gave us a really good summer theme. We have the Pink Lady statue. She was from a company about 6 years ago. Her coating failed outside, so we got credited for her. So I suggested the girls painted her pink, and she appears all around the garden centre with hints and tips of what you might buy and how you might go about it. So here, this month, she's been helping with the alfresco Pink Lady.
No, she has a sun hat and an umbrella. She's very prudent. She also needs touching up occasionally, because little boys keep rubbing bits of her, and I'm not going to say any more than that. What we also try and do is we personalise a lot of products. This is D&J Glass. These are the owls and the cats. Each of them actually has a name, and the names come from our members of staff. I'm actually quite unhappy, because I am a large pink and white cat.
And I don't like being Grumpy Dougal, but
Yeah.
apart from that, it's fine.
And people ask for particular names. They think that these are the names of the cats.
So back to the three buildings, just to remind you, how easily can our customers navigate our store? Because giftware is spread around it. It's a hindrance to doing that, having the three buildings. And we have an emporium style of crowding everything in and being a bit of a guddle. So physical flow and eye flow is really important to us. But each building is very strongly themed. So we've seen the gift shop with the tea room.
So the first one is the gardener's shop. The back one is the gift shop, and then the one to the left is the birdhouse.
And it's only the front bit that's retail. The rest is a home-baked kitchen and a staff bothy and a storeroom. So in the garden shop, we have very strong areas of gifts in the garden shop.
It's fine, we've swapped over.
Sorry.
And it doesn't matter at all. In the birdhouse, we do the fairy gardens, and also we have alpines there, and we do the bird food, and a lot of those are good gifts. And we also have garden lighting in there.
And you see the striped pumpkin there. We've sold about 75 of those in the last 18 months at £18 with a 50% gross margin. It just repeats and repeats. It's a really good single line.
Could I just jump in as well? You see the little notice which says, please don't touch, you'll scare the fairies. We do quite a lot. Dougal's handwriting is really, really good. It's very artistic.
Apart from when you're writing scripts.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
it
fine.
just seemed to be...
which I'm reading, it's fine. And so we do tend to do quite a lot of little handwritten recommendations and little chalkboards and things all around the place, because we can't be everywhere, but we can talk to our customers. And so we do lots of these little stories, just to give little hints and tips as you go around.
You want to keep going on the orangery, darling?
Yeah, okie dokie. And this is the main gift shop. We strongly colour theme it. So it starts off at white, which you can't see, which is the wedding bit, goes to lemon, green, blue, purple, and then wraps around the corner in red. And I find colour theming works really well, and it looks very strong, and it's very powerful. This is the ladies' loo. Lovely shot. The unit just to the left is fragrance, and then fragrance keeps on going round. This is where you'd actually expect to find fragrance. At one point, when we first moved to the garden centre, I put fragrances down much closer to the kitchen, and people were just not happy having the food and fragrance. It really interfered, and so now we keep all the fragrances near the loos.
We have a logical layout of products. So doormats and doorstops in one section. People aren't surprised to find them, but delighted to find a bigger range there.
We like to tell a story. So again, this is Uncle Roy's. This is a Scottish company who makes lots of old-fashioned sweets, lots of interesting salts and flavourings. And we discovered that they were actually gluten-free. And so we do quite a lot in the tea room as well. We sometimes use, this is Di Palomo. We actually use suppliers' point of sale, particularly when it's as good as some of Di Palomo's. I do feel I'm being moved on rather a lot. And we also do our own story. This is the wee midgie story, and it's a midgie cream. Remember, we are from Scotland. Midges aren't so bad on the East Coast, but they are on the West Coast. But we've linked this with all the barbecue stuff. We've got marshmallow prongs, sausage sizzlers, citronella candles, and you're trying to tell a story so that a customer will buy everything they need and then go away with that.
We do a lot of linked products. So with teddy bears, we have teddy bear books. And we're delighted that a Jellycat have brought out these lovely board books to go with some of their favourite soft toys, which we'll be moving into. We also offer wrapping material, shredded paper or straw, to get that extra 10% on each sale, but also to help the customer put together a better gift package for their friends.
And we do try and leave a little bit of space for our customers. So this is just showing you some of the fragrance section where there is good flow on the ground. It's quite unusual in a garden centre. We don't actually have carpet in the gift shop at all. We just have the polished concrete floor. This was absolutely a financial decision on our part, but it works very well actually now, and it's not a problem at all. But that is some more of the fragrance section.
How do we earn customer loyalty? We don't do customer loyalty cards. We find people with cards are very fickle. They'll take an advantage of a discount with us and then go somewhere else with another discount. We give them loyalty by making sure that they'll always find something with us. There's something at Dougal for their gift choice. There's lots of ideas and choices. Here it's planted pots.
Oh, it's me. I'm sorry. Yes, this is actually the Aran Aromatics unit, which is just opposite the ladies' loo, and this is where the lavender hand washes and hand lotion that they've used in the loo, and then lo and behold, it just happens to be outside. This is keeping on top of our bestsellers. We have a very, very good EPOS system, which I use continually. I'm not terribly good at some things on the computer, but I wouldn't manage without this. And I make sure that I've always got my top sellers in position.
We change the themes regularly for our repeat customers. There's always something new to tempt them and delight them. And we've got a bee collection. We've got seasonal food at Christmas time. Of course, we've got a lot of Christmas decorations at Christmas time.
Just on the Christmas one, actually, it's an interesting thing that we do, and it takes quite a while, but we just use our ordinary gondolas, and all we do is actually back them in some very nice wrapping paper and then put all the hooks back. So as Christmas starts to sell out, it doesn't look empty. And I'm amazed how many garden centres just whack them onto pinboard, onto the little units that got all the holes in. And when it's full, it looks fine, but as it gets empty, it looks awful. And we cover each shelf, and it just makes everything look more expensive. It's very easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time. What are we looking for? Well, we're actually looking for something that we can probably sell 200 a year of, 50 to 55% margin. This is a new one from McCaw Allen or Samuel Lamont. This is the dog rules. The cards have been very successful. I'm not ready to go on to that yet.
You've got 1 minute.
I know. The dog rules, it's a tea towel, it's an apron. I'm hoping it's going to match this one. This is very much for Scotland. If it's brune, it's cooked, it's back, it's buggered. We've got that near the barbecue bit. We sell literally about 200 of those a year. What are we looking for? As I say, I'm looking for something new. I'm going to do... can I just keep going now?
Yeah.
Okay. Harrogate, this is probably our most important buying gift fair that we do in the year. We will buy now. Hopefully I take the things in August, and I will be repeating in September, October and November for Christmas gifts. I never switch off because I think you're always looking for something new. So when I'm shopping in other gift shops, if they've got nice cars, if they've got something nice, I will buy it. I won't just take a photograph of it because I think that's naughty. I will buy it, but then I might get in touch with the supplier. And so I wonder if you're wondering, what have we seen so far? We've only been here for a day, but we have actually spotted some new bits and bobs. I'm going to go straight back to Gisela Graham because, you know, Easter, Dougal alluded to Easter. It's got to be yellow. It's got to be chicks. No, it doesn't. Blue and white, very, very fashionable. Gisela Graham now has French Kitchen. It's absolutely stunning. Rabbits and pottery in blue and white. We've also found some very interesting things on Junction 18. I know a big supplier, but I love the spectacle cases that actually have umbrellas in them. I think another trend is a lot of board games, and this is like the antidote, isn't it, to the smartphone. So there are lots of super companies out there and super gifts. And I hope you discover some more like we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.